Halloween, Halloween, oh Halloween. Night when the line between our world and something else becomes razor thin. You might think it's all fun and games, even candy, costumes, or parties, but beneath that, something darker stirred. Not just about blurry photos of Bigfoot or your crazy uncle claiming they saw a UFO. What you're about to discover might make you want to leave the lights on. Not just tonight, every single night you live and breathe for the rest of your life. Join us as we explore the haunted origins of our favorite candy-filled holiday. We learn the essence of Halloween from the beginning to the present, and why there's a certain eeriness when the sun sets on October 31st. As Yoda would say, ready to dive in the darkness, are we? Imagine a time when October 31st wasn't about candy, or costumes, or survival. The ancient Celts believed that on Samhain, the boundary between the living and the dead grew weaker. Spirits were said to wander around, and let's just say they weren't coming over for eggnog either. To avoid being noticed by these restless spirits, the Celts did what anyone would do: light massive bonfires and put on disguises, because nothing confuses a ghost like a guy dressed like a big wolf. They're either terrifying or just really, really weird to be left alone. But disguises weren't foolproof. Storage of vengeful spirits wandering just beyond the light were common. Entire families were just said to vanish into thin air in the night, leaving their neighbors to wonder if they've been outwitted by a particularly clever ghost. So what did people do to avoid such fate? They left offerings of food and drink outside their doors, hoping it'd satisfy the spirits. Think of it as leaving cookies for Santa. Except this time, the reward isn't a toy. It's waking up the next morning without a ghost in your face. Why do so many cultures believe in paranormal spikes during this time of the year? It's not just about superstition or sugar highs. Halloween marks the end of the harvest, when the earth starts shutting down for winter, and the world feels a little bit closer to the other side. As the days grow shorter and the nights longer, many believe spirits have an easier time crossing over. Think of it as the ghostly version of rush hour. Everyone looking for a way through. The lack of sunlight was also believed to drain the earth from energy, weakening the divide between this world and the next as well. If you've ever felt a chill running down your spine on Halloween night, and it might be more than just cold air. Or, it could just be that really, really cold air because it is October. But either way, maybe bring a sweater with you. You believe that with the earth in its dying state, the spirits could tap into the energy. You could think of it as ghosts getting a power boost, making Halloween their moment to shine. The next time you're out on Halloween night and you feel you're not alone, maybe you're not. Just remember, spirits thrive in the darkness. It's probably not the best time to take a midnight stroll through the woods, or anywhere else for that matter, really. Not every ghost on Halloween was out for revenge. Some spirits were said to return just to check on their beloved family member. Picture it, Grandpa coming back just to make sure you haven't messed up the family farm. Friendly, right? Unless, of course, he's got some unfinished business. Villagers would huddle together closely by the bonfire, hoping to keep the more malicious spirits away, listening closely for messages from beyond. They hoped for helpful tips from the ancestors, like maybe a warning about the surprise blizzard coming their way, or, a heads up about which crops to avoid planting next year. But not all spirits were there to help. Some had other agendas. You never knew if the whispers in the air were good or bad, or evil. Just a ghost messing with you for fun. Either way, villagers would leave out food and drink, hoping to keep the lesser than helpful spirits happy, and more importantly, outside. Leaving food outside might seem strange today, but back then it was considered essential. The loaf of bread at the door would be the difference between waking up safe in bed or not waking up at all. It's like a peace offering. Here's some bread. Now go haunt someone else's house. And hey, it probably didn't hurt to keep your ancestors on your good side either. Nothing like an ancestral spirit showing up to tell you that you've been doing everything wrong. When the Catholic Church noticed that Samhain wasn't going away, decided to put their own spin on it. They established All Hallows Eve on October 31st, followed by All Saints' Day after that. What better way to handle a holiday full of ghosts than by adding a few saints to the mix? The church hoped to replace the pagan ritual with prayers for saints and martyrs, but old habits die hard. While people were praying for the saints, they were still leaving out offerings for the spirits, just in case. Nobody wanted to be the one caught without a backup plan when the spirits came calling. And even the church couldn't entirely escape the supernatural side of things. There were reports of hauntings, mysterious noises, and even possessions around this time. Clearly not all spirits got the memo, but the whole saints only thing. Despite the church's best efforts, Halloween remained a time when spirits, both holy and not so holy, were said to roam freely. Turns out, ghosts didn't care much for the calendar changes. They were still showing up, saints or no saints. Trick-or-treating didn't always involve candy. Originally, people left offerings for spirits to keep them away. Over time, this evolved into giving out soul cakes, which sounds spooky, but it's really just an old-fashioned pastry. These were given to the poor in exchange for prayers for the dead. Nowadays, we've swapped prayers for candy bars, but the idea is the same. Give a treat or expect a trick. And while it's mostly harmless fun, there's always that thought lingering in the back of your mind. What if one of these trick-or-treaters isn't here for candy? The stakes might not be as high as they were centuries ago, but hey, if you ever run out of candy, it might be time to turn off the lights and pretend nobody's home. After all, nobody wants to find out what kind of a trick a spirit might have up their sleeve. Let's be real. Giving out full-size candy bars might not have you safe from ghosts, but it definitely keeps the living kids happy and away. Am I right? Win-win. You may be wondering if there's something to these beliefs. They say there's a grain of truth to every lie. Just how deep do you think this rabbit hole goes? You can take the red pill or the blue pill. Are you ready? Here we go. It's Black Mirror time. One chilling case involves the infamous Halloween hanging in 1990. A scarecrow decoration in Delaware turned out to be real, who had tragically taken their own life. For hours, people passed by, thinking it was just a prop, until someone realized it was real. Makes you stop and think. Next time you pass a department store, or even a farm, you'll wonder if the fake-looking straw mannequin is real, or is it just someone from Hollywood with really bad luck. A macabre reminder that sometimes the line between stage horror and reality isn't so clear. Of a haunted house during the mid-2000s located in Ohio that went full-on poltergeist without the vomit. On Halloween night, reports of objects moving on their own, doors slamming, and eerie whispers sent the homeowners fleeing in terror. Paranormal enthusiasts claim that the activity was far stronger than what they typically encounter, leading them to believe the date played a role in the spike of supernatural energy. Even modern technology hasn't escaped the strange occurrences. In 2013, a series of mysterious distress calls interrupted police scanners in a small town in New Mexico. Voice on the other end, a child, asking for help, never responding to the questions. Police searched the area, but found no signs of the child or anyone else in distress. The last words heard were, "They're coming for me," followed by static. The calls stopped as suddenly as they began, leaving behind a Halloween mystery that remains unsolved today. Of course, not all of these stories are dark. Some people have shared tales of unexplained foreign presences. Another urban legend has a woman in Massachusetts who claimed that every Halloween night she feels the scent of her grandmother's perfume filling her home. Her grandmother passed away on Halloween 30 years ago. I'm thinking it may have been a special kind of natural scent, if you know what I mean. These stories might make you think twice the next time you hear a creak or a whisper on Halloween night. Maybe it's just the wind, or maybe there's something else to it. October 31st, that night, invites the unexplained into our world, only for one night. There you have it. The eerie origins and creepy traditions that make Halloween more than just a night of candy and debauchery. From ancient rituals to modern day ghost stories. It's a night when the shadows seem a little darker and the wind whispers just a little bit louder. Whether you're out trick-or-treating, old in the sands, or just hiding under the covers with a favorite horror movie, remember, the scariest part of Halloween might not be the costumes or the decorations. It could be what's lurking just beyond the door. I hear liking, comment, and subscribing work even better than treats these days. And if you're even thinking about having a brush with paranormal on Halloween, share it in the comments below. You never know who or what might be reading. Until next time, keep your lights on and candy stash. And maybe, just maybe, leave a little treat out for any wandering spirits. Happy Halloween.